My name is Charles Rand Carlson. I was born in a place called Lenox, California, which is now part of Inglewood. First time I went surfing, I was around 12 years old, and we went down to San Diego, down to Del Mar, and my mom and dad, and I went out and I surfed all day long, and I just fell in love with it. So then the guy started picking me up, come to my house, we'd spend the night together or something. But the rule was, my mom and dad's rule was that you had to be in church by the time they're singing Holy, 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 which was the first song. My mom was killed by a drunk driver. The night she got hurt, I went to the hospital. I didn't believe in God, but I found myself praying to this thing I didn't believe in. And 3 months later, she died. But on her deathbed, she was just about ready to die, and she came right out of it, very, very clear, and said, I want to pray. And she started to pray, and she goes, no, I don't want to see that, I want to see this. Please, Lord, watch over and be with my husband. And Lord, please bring my son back to you. Or something like, please save my son. But I knew what she meant, come back here. But what got me is that as I searched, as everyone did in those days, as the flower power hit and the hippies and stuff, everyone was searching for meaning and stuff. I became a pacifist. I also marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. I went down to Mississippi, and I marched down there, and he spoke to all of us the night before we marched, and it really changed my life. What happened is after Dr. King was murdered, I lost faith in humanity. So I went to Hawaii with a lot of dope, and I started smoking like crazy, surfing, and we were my friend and I, my friend Duff. One day Duff met up with some nice little wahine, and so they were in the room together. So I couldn't go to bed. So I walked out on the pier of Lahaina, and I just sat up there and I smoked all the rest of my dope. And I'm sitting there, and I know this sounds crazy, but I'm looking across, and I see a sailboat coming across, and all of a sudden it hit me, why won't you give Christ a chance? And that scared me, all right? And in the scripture, it does say, I will come to you from the sea. It says that somewhere in Isaiah. Now this is my story. This is not your story. And I know it sounds freaky. I don't know you're going to think I'm crazy and stuff, but this happened to me. Okay, so I was drunk like crazy. I was really drunk. And I fell down on the sand, and I had a vision of Jesus. Seriously. And Jesus says, and I had thrown up already on the ground and the sand. It was terrible. It was really ugly. And Jesus says, come to me, Charles. Come to me. And I said, I'm not good enough. And he said, you'll never be. Just come to me the way you are. And I said, all right. The next morning I woke up, and I changed my life. I threw out all the crap in my life. I got rid of I stopped going to see my buddies who smoked the dope and stuff, and and that was it. It was a change in my life at that time. Went back to Bible school, finished there, finished up my college, went to seminary, became a pastor. One Thursday night, Lynn and I are starting to go together now, and we fall in love, and in fact, the next week I asked her to marry. We met and were married in 6 months. Lynn and I were married, 6 months later, April 15th, 1972. But anyway, we did a ministry there, and then we did a ministry in Palm Springs, and I did a dual ministry in the Lutheran churches there. I've been a youth and music director for churches and family ministries. I did that for 30 years, and I was ordained when we went to Hawaii by Bishop Waldy of the ALC, American Lutheran Church, and then I taught at a Bible school for about 4 years. Pastor Bob over at Hope Community over here, he was one of my students. Somehow, some way, and I can't go into details because it's so strange, I come down here, and I'm sitting in that parking lot space right over that handicapped parking space. I'm reading this, and I'm just praying, Lord, what do you want me to do? And all of a sudden, all these guys, surfers, come running by me. And of course, Mike and these guys show up, and they're goofy. What I didn't know, and I think you can talk to them, is that Mike and Mikey had been praying for a whole year. They would come down here and really make this their ministry. Well, that's what I wanted to do. And we just hit it off right away. And here on the beach, we're non-denominational. So we come here with this message. I'd rather focus on what saves us than what sends us to hell. It's not for me to judge. what the person is doing. That's God's job. My job is to share the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I hope you put that in there. Look, when you go out surfing, when you surf out there, that's the most pure place to meet God. It's out there in the water. When you're out there on the waves and in the waves, you are engulfed in. That's why I say, go in peace, serve the Lord. My hope for Hope at the Beach, my dream for Hope at the Beach, is that we can continue to bring people and to grow, so that this beach will become known as a beacon. I'm not going to change it either. I don't care how big we get or whatever. We're not going to go to a tent. We're not going to go to a church building. Rain or shine, by the way, we meet here. Cold or warm or whatever it is, we meet here. Every time you catch a wave, my heart is with you. My pretty message is for us always to forget about personalities like mine or me or anything. No matter how wonderful, how terrible they are. The personality that we need to focus on is the one that really brings us peace in the heart of Jesus Christ. He is unique in this universe. There's none like him. And that's why, unfortunately, a lot of people rebel from him. He sets us free to live life abundantly. That's what I would say in that part of the message. But Jesus does set us free to live life abundantly. Okay? Go in peace, serve the Lord. Thanks, man.